y'all, it's Beth and welcome to another video. So in this video, we're gonna be doing something a little different. We're gonna be reading some one-star books. But Beth, one-star books, that's definitely not the vibe. I get it. We're not gonna be reading my one-star books, nay. We're gonna be reading Jackie's one-star books, some of her one-star books, because hear me out, I have some bookish friends, okay, believe it or not, and a lot of those bookish friends have similar taste to me, which is why we're probably friends, okay? The one person that I feel like has the most opposite taste as me, I have some books that I truly love, Jackie has given a 1-star to, okay? And look, vice versa, she has a couple of favorite books that I also rated a little low. I don't rate books 1-star really. Like, you would have to really insult me to get a 1-star from me. So I think she's gonna be choosing some 2-star books of mine to read. That's right, we're doing this together. We're all in this together. I'll link her video down below if you wanna see what books she chose from my Goodreads account. Okay, so looking at Jackie's Goodreads account, I have spotted a few that are on my actual TBR and a few that I think I'm actually going to really like. We're gonna read some 1-star reads to try to find some 5-star reads, okay? That's what we're gonna be doing. So, book number 1, the one book that I know 100% for sure I will be reading is Razorblade Tears. Because one, first off, my husband has read this book and he loved it. Normally when he loves the book, I typically like the book as well, okay? So like we have very similar taste when it comes to thrillers. He does not read romance books. Anyway, so Razorblade Tears, top of the list. That's what I'm gonna be starting today. Now, Jackie has also read and hated a Stephen King book. And I get it. Stephen King isn't for everyone. I get it. But he is for me, my friends. She read Elevation by Stephen King. This is another one that I have on my shelves that I have yet to read. It's also quite short, so that's perfection, okay? So we're gonna be reading that one. And then the last and final book, I actually do not have this book on my shelf, but it's okay because I borrowed it from the library, and that is Drowning by TJ Newman. I think I have Falling. Funnily enough, they look very similar. They are not the same. They're not part of a series. They're different books. We're gonna read Drowning. So I think these 3 are gonna be the books that I dive into in this vlog, and I cannot wait to see if at least one of these comes out as a 5-star. I actually have pretty high hopes, my friends. So without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about our first book. Now, I haven't started reading this book yet, so I don't know too much about it. What I do know is we have 2 fathers, a white father and a black father, and they're seeking revenge because their sons were brutally murdered. I've heard this being compared to, and even Jackie compared this to, a Quentin Tarantino movie. Babe, sign me up. Sign me up. I'm ready to go. I'm ready for a fast-paced, action-packed thriller. Okay, so this is what we're going to be diving into today up first, trying to decide what exactly I want to do, because I have this on audio. Oh. I know a lot of people ask, like, why do you listen to the audiobooks when you buy the physical book? Shouldn't you just read the physical book? Listen, Linda, I wish I had all the time in the world to do all the hobbies that I love. I have a lot of hobbies. I am the queen of all the hobbies, okay? I read. That's a hobby. Collecting books, that's a whole nother hobby in itself, okay? I also cross stitch, I crochet, I diamond paint, I bake and decorate royal icing cookies. I'm pretty sure there's a few other things in there. I make stickers. I used to have like a planner sticker shop. Like, I am the queen of the hobbies. So if I can get 2 birds with 1 stone, listening to an audiobook whilst also crocheting a blanket or cross stitching a unicorn or something like that, then I'm gonna do it. And I feel like the best audiobooks to consume are thrillers. It's a good time, babe. It's a good time. So that's what we're gonna do. Matter of fact, I might listen to all 3 of these books on audio just cause. Trying to decide if I wanted to work on a blanket, a crochet blanket, because I have 4 of those on the go. I am waiting for some more yarn for my book blanket because I've ran out of a couple of colors that comes in tomorrow and this weekend. I had to buy some of it off of eBay because apparently one of the colors that I chose is no longer being sold. What? So I had to order it off eBay, unfortunately. Anyway, But I've decided that I'm gonna actually work on a cross stitch project while I listen to Razor Blade Tears. Let me show you what the pattern is gonna look like. It's inspired by actual, like, real life tapestries that are in museums. I don't know the full story. I know there are books, but I think this is absolutely, like, if I were to buy this as a piece of art, this feels like something that you would buy from Anthropology. I just love the colors. I love the quirkiness. I love this unicorn and its absolutely ridiculous horn. Let me show you where I'm at though. This is a kit that I got off Amazon, and I'm just doing it on the kit fabric. I'll show you where I'm at. And then I'll get started on this while I listen to the book and do other things, of course, like take care of children, you know, because that's part of my daily routine. This is where I'm at. I kind of just like went across. You can see the unicorn's mouth there and part of the mirror. It's gonna be so cute, babe. I will work on this during this vlog. Wouldn't it be so cute to do a before and after shot at the end so you can see all of my progress? This is the most tedious hobby that has ever existed. Cross stitching is a lifelong situation. It's probably gonna take me a very long time to get through all of the projects that I have currently going on. It's fine, it's fine. Okay, yeah, okay. I am 25% into Razor Blade Tears, but I'm taking a break because I have a headache. And I don't know if it's because it's been a minute since I've cross-stitched, and sitting down and cross-stitching for 2 hours is making me go cross-eyed and causing a headache. I don't know if it's because I am trying to cut my arms, you know what I mean? My goal weight is to have one chin. Okay? Or I need some caffeine. Did you know that Diet Coke has more caffeine than regular Coke? Slay. We're gonna let that Diet Coke solve all of my problems. Anyway, let's go ahead and talk about Razor Blade Tears because I did make it 25% into the book. I'm about to go off path again. So tonight I am gonna take a break because you know what came out today? The finale to The Circle. And I don't know if you guys watch The Circle. I have watched every single season of The Circle. I am obsessed, okay? Obsessed. The season finale of The Circle came out today. And I can't watch it until Paul gets home because we watch shows together sometimes and I am so nice. I could watch it early and then just like be shooketh, you know, like when I rewatch it. No, I'm not gonna do that. But I did want to say the whole reason for this combo, if you watched this season, I think it's season 6, QT, who is a player in The Circle, is a bookstagrammer. She has a whole bookstagram account. I am actually not team QT though. I am team Kyle. I just love Kyle and his dog. I don't know, I have a feeling that Olivia's gonna win. Or maybe Miles, or maybe even QT. But it'd be really cool if Kyle would. It'd be really funny if Lauren did. Anyway, I digress. Let's talk about Razor Blade Tears by S.A. Cosby. This book follows 2 fathers, a black father and a white father, and both of these fathers are like, I don't know, they've been to prison. They've both served many years in prison. They're out. One of them has a wife and now a grandchild, and he's trying to do good. He owns his own lawn business, this and the other. He made a promise that he would never like do anything bad again. He's gonna live life on the good path. The other one is an alcoholic. He lives in a little trailer. His words, he doesn't have anything to live for, okay? So those were his words, not mine. These 2 fathers are coming together to seek revenge. Because why? Because each of these fathers have sons. Had sons, and those sons were married. That's where the granddaughter came in because they also adopted. Did they adopt or did they have a series? I don't really know. They have a little girl. Regardless, it doesn't matter. They have a little girl, and they were murdered. Did I say that? They were murdered. And so the one father, the one that's like, I don't really have anything to live for, let's team up together, go hunt down the killer and take care of them ourselves, you know what I'm saying? We both been there, done that, we can do it again. And the other dad is like, no, I can't. I promised my wife and my son that I'm not gonna do that kind of stuff. I'm gonna leave it to the police. Let the police handle it, okay? A few weeks go by and that same dad finds out that the police have let the case go cold. They're no longer even worried about it. It's on the back burner, like they don't, it's probably not even on the back burner. It's probably in the icebox, rotting in a Tupperware bucket. You know what I mean? Bucket. So then Ike goes to Buddy Lee's trailer, you know, catches up with Buddy Lee and is like, you know what, Buddy Lee? I'm gonna take you up on that offer. We gonna go find these people that killed our sons and we're gonna seek revenge, babe, and it's gonna be dirty, okay? And that's what they're doing right now. They are going to different places trying to figure out who, what, when, where, why, and how. You know what I'm saying? Well, they know the how. Yeah, so also we do know that one of the sons was a journalist, and apparently he was writing an article that somehow linked to this girl that also people don't want the article / girl giving info. I don't know. Somebody's mad about said article, and so that's the reason why the two were murdered. At least that's what we're like. It's what I feel like is going. You know, like they don't reveal everything to us at the beginning of the book. Hello. And these daddies, they some bad assholes. One of them. Buddy Lee, I picture as Larry the Cable Guy. Okay, that's who I picture in my head as Buddy Lee, is Larry the Cable Guy. I don't know, I'm having a good time. It definitely feels like I'm watching a movie. And I'm not gonna lie to you, action movies are my cup of tea. Okay, one of my favorite movies is The Condemned, starring Stone Cold Steve Austin. You know what I'm saying? Like, hello?
Ride or die is...
Oh, I love me a good secret alliance. The circle paired up players.
I'm getting ready for bed, and I thought now would be a great time to come on here and update you about my thoughts on the book. First off, let's talk about The Circle. And I will say the person who won definitely deserved it because they played a good game. They played with their emotions, and they connected with other characters on an emotional level, and I think that's kind of what won them over. It was such a good season, and I definitely wish that there was either more episodes per season or more seasons per year, because this is my kind of show. Or I should find like another game type show to watch. I don't know. I thought about Survivor. I remember watching like season 1 when I was a kid, because my parents watched it when it was like really big. It probably still is really big, I'm just very clueless. But then also I have too many unread books to be starting, you know, I don't even know how many seasons there are of Survivor. I'm sure more than 20. Anyway, let's talk about the book really quick. So I am halfway into Razorblade Tears, and first off, I want to say that for maybe the first 20-ish% of this book, I'm not gonna lie to you, I was picturing the main guy, Buddy, as Larry the Cable Guy. He just gives redneck. He just gives redneck, and that's who I was picturing him as. But then about 20% into the book, he like meets one of his neighbors. She says that he looks like Sam Elliott, like a younger, she was like, wow, you've aged, you know, since his son has passed away. And she was like, you used to look like a young Sam Elliott, and now you're looking like the old Sam Elliott. So I was definitely way off the mark on that, but I thought it was funny. Anyway, so I'm 50% into this book, and it definitely is action-y. There have been, I don't know, like 4 or 5 action, like knife scenes, gun scenes, like fighting action, you know, like they're getting revenge. There was a machete scene. It's just like a lot. There's a lot of action going on in this, and like I don't mean this in any type of way, but you can tell that this book was written by a manly man, if that makes any sense at all. Like, no offense to like Riley Sager or Taylor Adams or Alex Michaelides, but okay, my camera just randomly shut off. Rude. But also, what's the other guy? Clint Eastwood. I can definitely see this as being like a Clint Eastwood or Quentin Tarantino. Is that how you even say his name? I don't really know. But you know what I mean? Like those types of movies, definitely that's giving. It's giving that. All right, I'm gonna go lay down. I'm actually not gonna read any more of this book this evening. I just want to lay down and read on my Kindle. So we're gonna go read us some smut. I know I've been saying like maybe these really smutty books are not for me, but listen, I have to catch up on my Elsie Silver books. I just do. And I picked up Wild Love, is that what it's called? I have it on physical form, and then I was like, let me just read it on my Kindle. Why do I keep wasting money like this? I don't know. But I was terrified if I didn't, because this is what had happened. I didn't buy the first book in the Chestnut Spring series when it first came out, I waited. And then I waited too long that I cannot find the first book in the cover that I want that matches the rest of my book. So then I was like, what if I truly love Wild Love? And then I wait too long and the cute pink cover is no longer available, because romance books be playing with your wallet like that. They be changing up the covers like it's, you know, their day job. So anyway, so I bought Wild Love. And I was like, well, if I wind up not liking it, I can just sell it. Where did this rant come from? I'm gonna go lay down and I'll see you guys in the morning. I woke up this morning with a sore throat, runny nose, couldn't quit sneezing. I did take some Zyrtec, so I'm hoping that kicks in because I have plans today. Not anything major. Plans at home. I wanna finish the book, Razorblade Tears, and I also wanna do day 1 of, I am not naked, I do have one. I want to do day 1 of Couch to 5K and start another book. You know, plans. The plans of an introvert. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. So my intentions for 2024 were to train for a half marathon. If you follow me on Instagram, you've already heard me talk about this. But I woke up on Christmas morning with an injury to body foot injury. Essentially, it's gonna sound gross, but just know I'm not a gross person. But I got a plantar wart on the bottom of my foot. How? I don't know. I'm gonna assume it's from walking outside on my back porch and stuff with no shoes on, which I don't do that anymore. I've learned my lesson, Jesus. You can take it away, but it's like May and it's still here and it hurts. I don't know if you've ever had one of those, but they hurt. And so I haven't been training for the half marathon because I've been down and out. You know what I'm saying? I need to close that door before I scare myself. But it's feeling a little bit better now. I've been putting medicine on it this entire time, trying to get it going. So now I cannot run a half marathon come October because I haven't been able to train for these past 5 months. But I'm hoping that maybe I can do a 5K. So I'm gonna try to do day 1 today. Anyway, I have breakfast going. I'm gonna listen to more of the Razorblade Tears. Why do I keep putting the in front of it? I'm gonna listen to more of Razorblade Tears while I eat my breakfast. Oh my gosh, so I was reading Wild Love last night. I didn't get a ton into it because I got sucked into my phone, as one does. But I was Googling, like, how many billionaires are there actually in America? And there's like, was it 700 and something like that? It was a small number, like a big number considering it's a billionaire, but a small number considering that there are probably more romance books with billionaires in them than there are actual billionaires. And I was thinking, like, this guy in this book, he doesn't even give off billionaire vibes. He seems very humble. If I'm struggling to breathe, babe, it's because I really am struggling to breathe. So he seems very humble, down to earth. He has like a bar that he owns and then he has a record label. To me, that's not enough things to equal a billionaire, but I digress. Am I supposed to picture him as Bill Gates or Jeff Bezos? Like, what's going on here? What, is he Elon Musk? Because billionaires, when you think of billionaires, you do not think attractive. Attractive or not, like, in romance books, you want them to be attractive. Hello, it's a fantasy, essentially. Not a fantasy like Fourth Wing, but like a fantasy in your brain. You get it? Okay. But in real life, like, if you're a billionaire hitting on me and you do look like Jeff Bezos, I'm gonna put all of my pride to the side, babe. Well, I told myself I wasn't gonna cry, but here I am. Now that I've collected myself and wiped away most of the snot and tears, I will tell you what. It is so funny to me that the very first book that I pick up for this video, for this, you know, challenge, is it a challenge? I don't even know. This theme of this vlog is a 5-star read for me. What are the odds? We're gonna see with the next 2 books that I'm gonna pick up if maybe I should just keep my eyes out for all of Jackie's 1-star reads. But this is definitely a 5-star read for me. This was a very well done thriller. The formula in this is perfection in the sense that we have action throughout the book. It is not just lumped at the end as most thrillers do, or sometimes at the beginning. I feel like a lot of the times now when I pick up thrillers, they're all very slow and they scream more mystery. This is definitely a thriller, but it also is full of emotion. Obviously, I was crying like a big old baby. The honesty in this book, the friendship that is formed between these 2 dads, it's unlikely friendship. There was also some parts that made me laugh, some little sentences, some one-liners, some dad jokes. Essentially, some dad jokes. books. I can look back on thrillers that I've read and I have maybe cried to like 4. For a thriller to hit me in the feels like this one did, bravo. 5 flipping stars. Yeah, I'm excited to dive into my next one. I hope it's along the same lines. So I have 2 other books on my docket, on my plans, and one of them is a lot shorter than the other, so I'm gonna go ahead and dive in to the short story, and that is Elevation by Stephen King. I don't know a ton about this book, but obviously it is super thin, so you don't really want to know a ton. I have read Stephen King, obviously. He's one of my favorite authors. I really enjoy his work, and I really enjoy his writing and the way that he does his characters. So I have high hopes for this one. But I'll say that most of my favorite books from Stephen King are either his very long ones, like 11, 22, 63 and It are both up there on like my favorite books, but then also his short stories as well. His short story collection, Full Dark No Stars, is one of my favorites. I loved all the stories in that book. That one is a very dark short story collection. Okay. He also has a new book coming out next week, I believe. That is also another short story collection, and I'm really excited about that. But all that I know from this book is it's about a guy who keeps losing weight, but like the scale, it says he's losing weight without getting thinner, and the scales register the same whether he is in his clothes or out of them, no matter how heavy they are. Now, if you've read Stephen King, you know that a lot of his shorter stories, they're a little off. They're a little off, okay? They're a little out there, a little wild. I like it. It's fine. That is it. We're on to the next book. So, can we get another 5-star? Shut up! The audiobook is narrated by Stephen King. That's just a blessing in itself. Anyway, look at my hoarding. You see all of that yarn? You see it? We've overflowed, babe. I'm gonna have to do something. I'm gonna have to finish a project or 2. I literally have an entire room for my books, and then I bought this thing, and this houses all of my cross-stitch projects because I have a ton, okay? And then there's more, like... And now I'm gonna have to figure something else out because my crochet section, we're getting out of control. I even had to start putting some of it in this bag because this couldn't close, and now also here's a little sneak peek at what I've been working on off and on. So I've made some progress in Elevation. I'm actually at the 50% mark, so I thought now would be a great time to come on here and talk about the book. So in this book we have this guy named Scott, which first off, this book takes place in Castle Rock, Maine, and Castle Rock is a made-up place. However, we have visited Castle Rock in a few of Stephen King's other books, and to me, I love that he does that. I love that there's a lot of crossovers and stuff in his books, because especially when it's a familiar town, somewhere where we've been before. There's also a few other like little things in this that, you know, give a nod to some of his other works. Like there's a band in here called Pennywise and the Clowns. But so this guy, his name is Scott, and he's 42 years old. He's like a heavy set-ish guy. He notices that every time he weighs himself, it goes down about a pound a day, no matter what. He could go to a buffet and eat all that he can eat, and then he weighs himself and he's down another pound. He can fill his pockets up with quarters, okay? And he will still be down another pound. He said he got out of the shower and he was soaking wet, picked up 2 20-pound dumbbells, and he was still down another pound. And as the book progresses, it gets a little bit more. So as of the 50% mark, it's like down 1.5 pounds a day. And he thinks that this is a sign that his time is running out in life. And the ending, when he gets to 0 pounds, is most likely when he's gonna die. You know what I mean? It's like a sign from the universe that this is his countdown of the end of his life. Is essentially what he thinks is going on. He does seek out a doctor, not an actual regular doctor that is currently in practice. He seeks out an old friend that is a retired doctor because he doesn't want to be a test bunny. He didn't want to be put away if they decided to like experiment because of what's going on with him. Like, he wanted to go to someone that he trusted. And so his doctor friend does like research and stuff like that and says there's no other cases, because, you know, like, actual doctors can do other things besides use WebMD. Okay, and like Google, they have other ways of researching. And so he's like, I went and researched and I didn't see any other cases with this type of situation going on. And also, I also want to say Scott doesn't have any medical anything going on. Like, he feels 100% fine. I don't know if I mentioned this, as he's losing weight, his body is the same. So like, when he steps on the scale at his doctor friend's house, first asks his doctor friend, he's like, yo, you've been a doctor for many, many years and you've weighed a lot of people. Give me your educated guess on how much you think I weigh. And his doctor friend is like, 240. He's like, okay, bet. And he gets on the scale looking like he's 240 and he weighs 212. Well, then further into the book, still looking like he's 240, he's at 160 pounds. It's like his weight keeps going down, but his body is not changing. And that is why he thinks this is some type of countdown until the end of his life, okay? Scott also has these two neighbors, two women, and they own this Mexican restaurant in Castle Rock, and they're married. The town of Castle Rock is not very nice to them. Let's just put it that way. People don't go eat at their restaurant. They won't even allow their kids to go trick or treat at their door simply because they're lesbian. And Scott has like this interaction with one of them, or with both of them, but really one of them has the attitude with him, because they go walk their dogs. They have two dogs, and they let their dogs poop in Scott's yard. And Scott was like, when you walk your dogs through here, I would really appreciate it if you just pick your dog's poop up, like with a bag. I feel like that's common sense. Like, if you're gonna walk your dog down the street and they poop in someone's yard, you're gonna pick it up with a bag. Well, anyway, one of the ladies took it in not in a not so good way, and she does not like Scott now. And the other lady, the other wife, came and knocked on the door and like the next day and was like, my wife Deidre is just going through a really hard time right now. And so he is trying to figure out a way before his time runs out to get Deidre back on his good side and just to do something nice for them. Anyway, that is essentially what we're doing here. And yeah, we're just counting down the pounds. But anyway, that's where I'm at in the book. I'm gonna continue listening to it this evening as we wind down and get ready for bed and whatnot, and then I'll let you know my final thoughts and ratings. So far it's looking really good though, so yeah. 'Tis time to wrap up our second book of this vlog. Actually, plot twist, second and third bonus book. The bonus book is not included in the whole 1-star TBR because I didn't know that in the audiobook of Elevation, once you're done with Elevation, there's an extra short story. So it was 2 short stories. Elevation is like a novella, I guess, because it's 140-ish pages, versus Lori, the other short story, is probably, I would guess, like 15-20 pages max. It was a very, very short story. So Elevation, I already talked to you about essentially what it was about. And now it's time for me to give you my rating. Are you ready? Do you want to know what I rated it? You want to guess? What do you think? Ah, interesting. Interesting. Let me just put this out there. It is really rare for me to give a short story / novella 5 stars. It's pretty rare because I do feel like when it comes to short stories / novellas, you don't get what you would get from a full story. That's given, I think, right? I gotta sneeze. That being said, I did not give Elevation a 5-star rating. I did give it a 4-star rating, which I still think for a novella is really, really good because I really enjoyed this book. And I really enjoyed the characters, the character growth. In such a short book, there was so much character growth in here. We have this man who's just trying to become friends with this couple, more specifically with the one partner who just has this really big chip on her shoulder, and he's just trying to knock that chip off and become a friend to her. And so we have that going on. We have her character growth, his character growth, and then there's the doctor and the doctor's wife, and the doctor's wife was not the best person, but she grew. Okay, there was some growth, and I really, for what it was, in such a short story, okay? And it was wrapped up I do find a lot of horror short stories / novellas are never wrapped up. It just feels like a chunk from a bigger book, if you catch my drift. This one was wrapped up. It ended. Of course, there's no like true explanation, but is there really when it comes to horror? No. It's kind of a thing in the horror genre with multiple different authors when it comes to crazy things. They don't really have to explain it, as in like a thriller, they would have to explain what was actually going on. You just have to kind of like go with the roll with the punches. Just go with the flow. Just go with the flow. Enjoy it. Life is too short. Anyway, if you do enjoy Stephen King's work, I think you would enjoy this one. If you were to give me this book to read and it did not have the author's name on here, I could tell you that this was a Stephen King book. I should do like a Stephen King recommendation video. You know, like if you are a fan of crime thrillers, I think you should start with either Mr. Mercedes, which is part of the Bill Hodges trilogy, which is a crime thriller at first that then bleeds into horror, and then as the series goes on, it then bleeds into other stuff. It's a really good starting place. But if you want to read just like a crime story without the other stuff and not really horror, Billy Summers, great place to start for you crime lovers out there, okay? But then if you know what I mean? Like that kind of, I should do that kind of video. Should I? Let me know down below. Let me know. Okay, so this, 4 stars. Enjoyed it. Now, in the audiobook, there was a bonus story called Lori. Kind of felt like Stephen King's love letter to dogs. Stephen King is a dog stan. He has some corgis himself. Like, he's a dog lover. And he also features dogs in a lot of his books. Come to think of it, if you love dogs and you want to read a Stephen King book, you should read Fairy Tale, because the dog plays a big part in that book. Anyway. So this is about a man who has recently become a widower, and he is grieving really hard. And one day his sister stops by with a puppy. And at first he's like, I don't want this thing. Get it out my house. And she talks him into keeping it, and through these short little pages, their little relationship grows, and it's just him going through life, bonding with a dog turned friend. That's it. There's really nothing. There's no plot. There's no twists. There's nothing. It's just a cute little, I mean, there is like some brain splattering at the end. But I mean, it's Stephen King. Like, let's bear out. But it was just, I gave it 3 stars. It was just cute. And if I'm not a teacher, but if I were a teacher and somebody were to turn that into me, there was a start, there was an end. I mean, it did what it needed to do. I felt like it would get an A. Like, it was a good short story. Why are you not giving it a 5-star? I don't know. It's really weird. I don't think I've ever given like a true short story 5 stars. I don't know, fam. Let's dive in and talk about our last and final book, which is called Drowning by T.J. Newman. I have absolutely no idea what this book is about. So let me really quick pull it up, skim through the synopsis, give you a couple of words, and then I'm gonna start it in the morning. Actually, it's getting pretty late here and I'm about to go lay down. So let's do that. Okay, so first off, the author of this book was a flight attendant, which explains, I guess, why her books are so plain. She has 2 out, right? And both of them like are something to do with planes. This one is about a commercial jetliner that crashes into the ocean and sinks to the bottom with passengers trapped inside. There are 12 people trapped inside of this plane at the bottom of the ocean, and they're like waiting on this rescue mission. And an 11-year-old daughter, Shannon, are waist deep in water and fighting for their lives. Their only chance at survival is an elite rescue team on the surface, led by professional diver Chris Kent, Shannon's mother, and Will's soon-to-be ex-wife. Wait a minute. So the guy and the kid that are in the plane at the bottom of the ocean have to rely on his ex-wife to save him? Is this gonna be like a second chance romance? Just don't throw in any smut scenes. I don't want no smut scenes in my thrillers. That I can live without. I'm here. I've showed up to class. Look, I think I have my Alani because I'm about to go get a walk in. I think I'm just dealing with a cold. Your common cold allergy situation. I don't really know what the difference is between a cold and your allergies acting up, but I don't have any fever or anything like that. My throat isn't swollen. I think my throat is just sore from the drainage, and last night as I was laying down, it was draining. I could feel it, and you know, like when you can just feel it in your stomach, like you can feel all the snot and mucus building up in your stomach, you know what I mean? Like that stuff. I don't know what it is. I'm not a doctor but I don't feel too bad to where I can't get my walk-in today, so I'm just gonna go get my walk-in here in a minute. But I wanted to update you on my book because I did read some of Drowning by, is it The Drowning or just Drowning? I think it just is Drowning, I don't know, by TJ Newman. I'm 20% in actually, and I'll tell you this, the first like 5 chapters of this book are definitely action movie. Literally opens up with one of the plane's engines blowing up, and then now we are like a few hours earlier, so it's like chapter 6 I think, and it says like 3 hours earlier, so it's them getting ready to go get on the plane. We do like get like perspectives of multiple people, but our main 2 characters that we're really focusing on is Will and Shannon, his 11-year-old daughter. And 3 hours earlier, they're at his wife's house, which they're separated. They've been separated for a year now, and they are headed towards a divorce, okay? And nothing was done in the sense that like nobody cheated on anybody or nothing like that. They are just separating because after they lost one of their children in an accident, their relationship kind of fell apart. Anyway, so Will is at his ex's house to pick up their daughter because their daughter is going to camp. And so they live on an island of Hawaii. I don't remember which one it is, but that they live on one of the islands that is Hawaii. And then their daughter is going to a camp in the state. Well, Hawaii is part of the state. Okay. The daughter needs to fly back to the mainland. I don't know how to word this stuff. To go to camp. She was like trying to convince her dad that she can fly by herself. She's 11 years old. She's flown before. She can do it again. Like let her fly by herself, and he doesn't want to let her fly by herself. And so he's picking her up from her mom's house to bring her to the airport to fly with her to bring her to camp. I mean, thankfully he did that because they're on the plane and the plane goes down, and they literally just took off. They're like 3 minutes into the air. They just took off when all this stuff is going down. It's like a water landing, but then things keep blowing up. As the plane is sitting on the water, passengers and stuff are getting out. Will, who is an engineer, is like, I work on oil rigs for a living. I design them. This is what I do. And I'm telling you right now, all of this fuel and stuff that's in the water, and there's like little pieces of fire in the water, you know, because the plane's like, you know, kapowing. He's like, the wind is gonna carry those flames, and everywhere you see the fluid, the flame's gonna be there, and we're all gonna burn alive if we do not stay in this plane. We have a bigger chance at surviving if we stay in the plane. Close the door and stay in the plane. So him, his daughter, and 10 other people stay in the plane. Everybody else either has died, and there was like 90 some odd passengers. Everybody else has either died or are about to die because they're burning up. And so while they're in the plane, all of a sudden they notice water rising, and they're like, oh shit, we're sinking. So the plane is sinking under the water, but the water on the inside of the plane has stopped rising. So they're still, I don't know if they've made it to the bottom of the ocean yet, but because it has flashed back to 3 hours prior, and that's where we're at now. And we're learning about their daughter that had passed away in an accident, and how Chris and Will's relationship. So this is another thing. So being that their relationship hasn't really gone out from like cheating or doing something, you know, like it just, their flame has fizzled out because of the grief that they were both going through from losing their daughter. There's a chance that this could bring them back together. Why do I want that so bad? I don't know, but I do. But like when you watch these action movies like Speed or whatever, that's what happens. Like 2 characters wind up being together at the end. So like, let's make it happen in this book. Anyway, I'm gonna go get to walk in. I'm gonna open my fuel here and go get a good walk in, and maybe getting some movement in today will help. I don't know. I took another Zyrtec and some Tylenol. I don't know, y'all. I just roll with the flow. We've went over this. I don't know words. I was gonna try to make today an interesting day, get some extra footage of some things. I don't know, do something. But honestly, as the day ticks on, the worse I'm feeling. I was so happy this morning. I was like, okay, it's just allergies, we got this. And now I feel like a fever's coming on. So I love that for me. No, but for real, what I'm really enjoying is this book, Drowning by TJ Newman. Have I ever told you guys who my favorite male narrator is? Steven Weber. He is the narrator that narrates It by Stephen King. He also narrated that Harlan Coben book that I read recently, and he also narrates Drowning. But that's just like, it makes the experience so much better. It gives like a survival story vibe, and I am also a big fan of a good survival story. And as I started reading it and getting into it, I'm definitely getting like speed vibes. Like there's a countdown going on because they only have so much oxygen left in the cabin of the plane. It's really good. I'm enjoying it. I'm about 60% in. I don't know if I said that. They're like, I don't know, kind of losing hope because I feel like everything that they try to do is failing in order to rescue them. There were a couple, I can't even speak. Like, I can't even think. There were also a few times in this book that I teared up a little bit, like when the passengers are in the plane's cabin and the robotic situation camera thing is under the water taking pictures. You okay? He's upset. You want to know why? Because he decided to take a little piece of foam and shove it up his nose. So I had a fun time getting that out this morning. I bet you he won't put nothing up his nose again. So he's a little traumatized. Sorry to my neighbors if you heard my son screaming bloody murder, because he surely did do that. What was I saying? Like when the little robot camera thing was going around the plane under the water, it saw people alive through the window and like it gave them hope, and I just wanted to cry. And then when Chris learned that her husband and daughter are still alive down there, also I kind of wanted to cry. And then there was just a lot of little moments that's really sad. And then it got me thinking about Ocean Gate and like how similar, but not similar, but similar. I don't even think I would want to know what truly happened in real life down there with Ocean Gate, because that's got to be absolutely 100% terrifying. But this is definitely a good action-packed survival story, and I love that. And I'm gonna blame that on Hatchet by, is it Gary Paulson? I don't remember, but I read that book when I was like in intermediate school, and I've probably read it 10 times since. I still own it on my shelves because I just love it. I also love survival type movies, and this is just, I'm really loving it. As of right now, it's a 5-star read for me. I can feel, okay, we got 2 hours and 6 minutes left of this audiobook, and I'm definitely gonna finish it here in just a second, and I can wrap it all up, babe. Don't expect me to come back on here looking prim and proper, because I surely don't feel prim and proper. Who would have thought I would be crying twice? Twice in one vlog. What the fuck is wrong with me? If you think I look like crap, I'm just trying to match my aesthetic with how I feel. We had to get it done, babe. We had to get it done. And it is officially done, because I have finished the last and final book of this vlog, Drowning by TJ Newman. Let me tell you what, I own her first book called Falling. I haven't read it yet. I should probably get to it. Did I even know what Drowning was about? No, but I just assumed that it was just like, I don't even know what I assumed. It was never on my to buy list. It's on my to buy list now, because this is by far the easiest 5 stars that I have ever given out. This book is everything that I could have wanted in a thriller. Like, there was not a dry part of this book. It had such a great formula, exactly like Razorblade Tears, how when it started to slow down a little bit, it picked right back up. And this was phenomenal. If you enjoy the movie Twister, when you have like the 2 exes having to team up together to get shit done, you're gonna love this book. If you enjoy like Lost, the TV show, besides like all the weird shit that goes on in that show, I think you would enjoy this book. It's not like a deserted island book, but it kind of gives those vibes. There's even a character in there named Saeed, just like there is in Lost. If you enjoy, I don't know, like the Titanic even, it gave Titanic vibes and some, it's such a good book. It was action-packed. It was very well written and thought out, and though this book takes place in one day, it was done so well, because I can name a couple of other thrillers that I've read that take place in one day and it just wasn't that great. This one was phenomenal. This one was done so well, and even all the way up to the end, it was just so good. So good. Let me just tell you what, let's take a little recap, okay? A little recap if I can remember. Like, I am now dosed up with Dayquil. I'm ready to go take a nap, if we're being honest. But let's talk about the books that I read in this video. So the first one that I read was Razorblade Tears, and this is the same thing. It's a very full of action type thriller. It's emotional. It's great writing. It's just fantastic. I gave it 5 stars. And then I read Elevation by Stephen King, and that's more of a short story novella situation, and it was just so good. I wanted to give it that 4 stars, but it didn't get a 5 star simply because it's very rare for me in general to give short stories 5 stars or novellas 5 stars, because it's just like, I mean, if you get it, you get it. Okay. And then there was also that bonus. Sure, my nose is itching because it's just so dry from like the tissue. So sorry if I keep, you know. Okay. Then I read that bonus short story that was at the end of Elevation called Lori. Such a cute read. Such a little bonus. Like, I say cute. There was something dark that happened in it, but still, nevertheless, I'm glad I read it. No disappointments there. And then I read Drowning by TJ Newman. The easiest 5 stars I could give a book. It was just so good. If you like Speed, you know how like in Speed or other movies like that where they have like the bomb or the countdown go throughout the entire movie and it's like counting down. That's also very similar to Drowning because they're like counting down the amount of hours they have left of oxygen left. God, it was so good. I have to buy it. I have to buy that book. It was that good. I definitely will read that again. I will. And it's not like a mystery. Like, there's no mystery in this at all. It was just a full-blown thriller. It is just bam, 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 the end. Oh, I love that. So all in all, even though all of these books were rated 1 star by Jacqueline, they're all essentially favorites by me. It's so bizarre. I wasn't expecting them all to be well loved by me, but they are. And maybe I should go and read more of Jacqueline's 1 stars because maybe they're just my kind of book. I really hope that Jacqueline had a good outcome with her vlog as well. Maybe she at least got 1 new favorite book from reading some of the books that I didn't like. We'll see. Is our taste really that opposite? I guess we'll see when I go and watch Jacqueline's vlog here now. I'll link it down below as well so you could go watch it and see which books she chose off of my like 1-2 star list and see if she found some new favorites. But before I go, I did want to show you my updated progress on my cross stitching. I did work on this all 3 days. Here we are. Yeah, can you tell? I mainly worked on like the dress part, but it's gonna take me forever to do. But that is it, my friend. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!